The scripture lessons, because there's one from the Old Testament, one from the New. The first one is in the book of Samuel, the Old Testament. It's the second book of Samuel, and it's chapter 22. Then it goes to verse 21, and I will read from 21 to 37. The Lord has dealt with me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanliness of my hands, he has rewarded me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord. I have not done evil by turning from my God. All his laws are before me. I have not turned away from his decrees. I have been blameless before him. I have kept myself from sin. The Lord has rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanliness in his sight. To the faithful, you show yourself to be faithful. To the blameless, you show yourself to be blameless. To the pure, you show yourself to be pure. But to the crooked, you show yourself to be shrewd. You save the humble, but your eyes are on the haughty. Bring them to low. You are my lamp, O Lord. The Lord turns my darkness into light. With your help, I can advance against the truth. With my God, I can scale a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The way of the Lord is flawless. He is a shield for all who take refuge in him. For who is God besides the Lord? Who is the rock except our God? It is God who arms me with strength and makes my way perfect. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to stand on the heights. He trains my hands for battle. My arms can bend a bow of bronze. You give me your shield of victory. You stoop down to make me great. You broaden the path beneath me so that my ankles do not turn. And then we go to the New Testament. And we're in Galatians chapter 5, first verse, and then verses 13 and 15. The first verse says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened by the yoke of slavery." Over to verse 13. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge in the sinful natures. Rather, serve one another in love. The entire law is summed up in a single command: love your neighbor as yourself. If you keep on biting and devouring each other, watch out, or you will be destroyed by each other. Here ends the reading of the Testament. May God bless these words, not only to our hearts, but also to our lips. Well, as you can see in your bulletins, and as we sing every Sunday, it's God Bless America. It's the topic for today. I think at the end of the song, we'll put it on that, make it a hymn. House number. As we approach our country's observance of this federal holiday in honor of our Declaration of Independence, it was relatively easy for me to come up with today's title, obviously. It was on this date, the 4th of July, 246 years ago, this year, that only 2 delegates from 13 colonies signed the Declaration of Independence. This document is America's revolutionary charter of freedom, declaring our independence from British rule. The following is probably most familiar part of the whole Declaration of Independence, and I think most of us had to remember this in school at one time or another. For we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we all are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator, who is God, with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But did you also know that although our country celebrated this day, 4th of July, for a long, long time, it was not made a federal holiday until 1938, or that only 2 men signed the document on July 4th in 1776. One was John Hancock, president of the Continental Congress, and the other was a fellow by the name of Charles Thompson. He was the secretary to the Congress. Legend says that John Hancock's signature was deliberately made so large that the King of England would not have to wear his glasses to see the signature. And you most likely are familiar with the saying that we use, put your John Hancock here when they want you to sign some type of a paper somewhere. Don't sign his name, that won't help you at all, but sign your name if they ever ask you that. It was also not until August 2nd, 1776, that the rest of the delegates signed this now most precious document. Now, while all of this was going on, George Washington was in New York with his troops, and he received a copy of the Declaration July 9th, 1776. And with it was a note from John Hancock to share the news with his troops. The troops were so excited. Now remember, they're in New York City, or what we know as New York City. They rushed over to Bowling Green and tore down the statue of King George III. And then the British attacked the colonists, and the American Revolutionary War was underway. And the colonists fought for 8 long, hard years for independence from Britain. And just in a side note, both John Adams and Thomas Jefferson were signers of the Declaration of Independence. Each became president, and each of them died on the 50th anniversary of that signing and the adoption of the Declaration. And that was on July 4th in 1826. And here ended today's history lesson. Now, I wasn't there for all this. Sometimes I think I might have been, but I really wasn't. Certainly those early days and even up to including today with our current times, keeping our independence and freedoms has not been an easy task. With all our successes, there have been failures, there have been foils and fables. We have had victories, we've had wars, we've had epidemics, assassinations, pandemics, depressions, receptions, and the life goes on, and we continue to persevere, thank God. But through the grace of God, we have obtained the status we enjoy today, not only as individuals and groups, but also as a country, a leader in the world scene. Some days this seems to be a little maybe contradictory by the way the world is going, but history has proved itself that we continue, and we continue to believe and hold on to the freedoms that we have, and we go onward and forward. Now, I want to put your minds at rest also. I am not campaigning for anything. I'm not running for anything. So don't get excited about it. I'm not asking for votes or anything. Let's realize that it's hard to make a very brief summary in the name of our country and all its successes. I often think of Irving Berlin, whose family roots were in Germany, and whose song we sing every Sunday, and I love it. It's one of the many things I love about coming here is God Bless America. And of course, when we think of that, let's not forget Kate Smith, who popularized this song somewhere around the 1930s into the early 40s. And I'm not sure of the verse, but I believe one of them starts as the storm clouds were gathering far across the seas. And this was the beginning of World War II. There were some, and there are still some people who would like to take God Bless America and have it made the national anthem, replacing the Star Spangled Banner. Our patriotic songs have a religious component, every single one of them, and every one that we sing from our red hymnals has one today. My Country, 'Tis of Thee was written in 1832 by Samuel Smith, and he used Proverbs 14, verse 34 as inspiration Righteousness exalted a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And if you take Julia Ward Howe's Battle Hymn of the Republic from 1862, the reference point that was used there is Psalm 76, verse 12. He is terrible to the kings of the earth. And now let's not forget, oh, beautiful for spacious skies, sometimes known as America the Beautiful. It was written by Catherine L. Bates in 1893, and her reference point is from Psalms 33, verse 12. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. If you're ever up in the New England way near Falmouth, Massachusetts, towards Cape Cod, there is a main highway that has been named for this woman, but she came from up there. There are Bible references for each one of these masterpieces. God has been the inspiration for each one. There is another less familiar hymn that I'd like to mention, and maybe someday we can sing it, and it's called Peace in Our Time, Dear Lord. It's number 519 in the original, and the reference point there is from Isaiah 32, verse 17. And the work of the righteous shall be peace. And we could sing that because we know the tune. I don't read music, so anything that you can sing, I'm very happy with, because I'm not sure what it's all about. I've never read music, so I'm not going to start, But the tune is very familiar. This Peace in Our Time, Dear Lord, that uses the tune that is, we know it from Crown Him with Many Crowns. So some Sunday, maybe soon, we'll do that, because I know you can sing it. I know the tune. I'm not sure, but I know that the other hymns have references. You might have a few of your favorites that I haven't mentioned. Look them up sometime, and if you want to let me know about it, I'd be pleased to hear it and see what we could do and maybe use it somewhere along the way, or if they sing some of your favorite hymns, they all don't have to be the ones that I pick out. You might, and you must have some of your own favorites that haven't been sung in a while, so let's hear from you. And last but not least, I just want you to recall that the poem that Emma Lasford wrote, called The New Colossus, has the famous saying, give me your tired, your humble masses yearning to be free. Send these the tempest tossed to me. And that's that by the Statue of Liberty. Out of all these hymns and phrases, biblical references, we have become a nation whose very foundations of freedom were and still are and should continue to be gifts and blessings from God our Father. If we will only accept them and work within God's framework to use these gifts to proclaim the word of God Himself. God has blessed us with this land and all the riches He has found within the borders here. He has blessed us with an intellect to serve Him and to follow these laws and teachings. Some of you might remember, and I think it was in World War II, Franklin Roosevelt made a speech, and he had 4 freedoms listed, and the artist Norman Rockwell took those phrases and turned them into a series of 4 absolutely gorgeous paintings. And the 4 freedoms were freedom of worship, freedom of speech, freedom from fear, and freedom from want. Again, I refer to Irving Berlin's hymn, God Bless America. And I can think of no better way than to just say, He has blessed us indeed, but let us continue His work for one another. To God be the glory.